My name is John Byrd. I am the owner of Yadkin Valley Wine Tours. This is my wife, Kristen, my sidekick.
The one that kicks him in the side.
Yeah, kicks me in the side. But been owning this company for 8 years now. So we've been operating tours out of this area for that period of time. Really enjoy it. It's going to be just an awesome day for you guys today. The weather's going to be perfect, and I think you have a great experience. We do educational wine tours, okay? So with that being said, we hope that you will learn something and pick up on something throughout the day, because we're going to be covering different topics, such as I'm going to start off this morning with wine tasting etiquette. Then we're going to talk about wine storage. We're going to talk about ordering wine in a restaurant, and I'll be talking to you about the different wineries we're going to along the way, and a little bit of facts about the Yadkin Valley and about the North Carolina wine industry. Okay, so yes, there's going to be a lot of other things going on the bus, but try to tune in from time to time. When I say this is important, then I'm looking for your attention. Okay, we do not allow consumption of alcohol on the bus. There's a reason for that. The cleanup fee for a bus this size is probably closer to about $1,000. So I had a person, one trip we had a person drop a red wine bottle and it rolled all the way the length of the bus, and it was a bad situation. So no consumption of alcohol on the bus. But in between, at the different stops we're at, you're more than welcome to get a glass of wine, to get a bottle of wine with your lunch or whatever. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Now, who here has been to the Yadkin Valley before? All right, so I can't get away with just saying anything. All right, so y'all know a little bit about where we're heading to. The Yadkin Valley is 33 different wineries. We're going to 4 of them today. We're going to start at Raffledini. Then we're going to work our way back over to Shadow Springs, then to Laurel Gray, and then to finish up the day at Dobbins Creek. We're going to try to spend at least an hour's worth of time at each stop. So we'll have plenty of time for photograph opportunities, tasting, and everything else. And by the way, when you're tasting wine with me today, you're going to look good because I'm going to teach you wine tasting, but I want you to try everything. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you're a sweet wine drinker. I want you to try some dry wine today. If you're a dry wine drinker or red wine drinker, try some white, okay, or sweet. Mix it up. You'll be surprised what your mouth and your palate is going to like today. And you're going to find out there's a wine that you're going to sip on today that you thought, I would never like that, and you really do like it. Okay? Now, let's talk about the 4 S's of wine tasting. And this is in your packet. Okay? Now, the first S is what I want you to do with your wine glasses today. And the wine glasses are shaped like a tulip for a reason. And that's because when you swirl wine and you're tasting wine, you don't want it to get out of the glass. Okay? A lot of these really fancy glasses you buy that aren't clear, that are colored or fluted outwards, are not ideal for wine tasting. Maybe for sipping wine or champagne, but not for tasting, because you're going to be swirling. And you're swirling wine in one of those fluted glasses, it's going to go everywhere. Okay? Now, so the first thing you want to do is see the wine. Okay? So what you're going to be doing today is tilting your glass over, looking through it, and what you're looking for is consistency of the color of the wine. Is it ruby red? Is it more of a sapphire? Is it more of a garnet color? All are indications of the age of the wine and also the quality of the wine. A wine that's really looks watery is going to be very light-bodied wine and be kind of flabby and you can tell that before you even put it in your mouth, just by looking at it. Okay? So you're going to get your wine, it's going to be in your glass, they're going to give you about an ounce or 2 ounce pour at each place that we go to. You're going to have to taste at least 7, I'm estimating 28 wines today, maybe 30. Okay? So you're going to, for each one, you're going to do this, right? I'm going to be looking for you, okay? So you're going to tilt your glass and you're going to see the one. That's the first S. The second S is... Well, I'll get to that. That's the last S, and I'll get to that. All right. So the second S of wine tasting is after seeing the wine, we want to swirl it. And why do we swirl wine? Why do you see people doing this? It looks good. I've heard that time and again. No, actually, the reason we swirl wine, we do want to get oxygen back into it. It's been cooped up in a bottle for a while or in a barrel for a while, and so you want to get oxygen back in the wine. which will in turn release aromas, which is for the next S. Okay. Now, before I get on to smelling the wine, swirling it, you can do this at the tasting room on the table top and go like this, and that will get you started as far as swirling the wine. But really, you got to have a stemmed glass to swirl wine properly. These stemless glasses, if you ever try to swirl wine like that, it just gets crazy. But do it on a stem glass. You just slightly go like this. Now, guys, I know this is hard, okay, but it should be easy. All right. If you're going like this, I'm just going to get out of the way. Okay. This is not a big circular round throwing a football motion. Okay. It's a little bit of a twizzle. Okay. And that's all you do to swirl your wine and get the oxygen back in it.
And then you'll be swirling your orange juice and your coffee.
You'll be swirling everything. Okay. And you can practice, left-handed, right-handed, whatever. You can do both, become a circus act or whatever, But no, after you swirl the wine, oxygen's getting back in it. The aromas for these type of glasses is perfect. It comes up the side of the glass, right out the top, and brings us into the next S, which is smelling the wine. Smelling the wine is very important because you're marrying your sense of smell with your sense of taste. And that is very important business when you're tasting wine. You're going to get your nose up to the glass, to the rim. I know girls, ladies, is going to look funny. Okay, you're like, why am I? This looks weird. But no, you can get your nose all the way down in the glass. I don't want to see any of the fanning procedure. Okay, we're not. You're not going to get the smell of the wine to your nose by fanning it over to it. Okay, it has too much room between the glass and your nose to dissipate. Okay, so get your nose up to the glass, take a deep whiff, and the person next to you is going to say, oh, that smells like blackberry. Oh, no, that one smells like black cherry. You know what? Everybody has a different sense of smell, and you're going to pull a different characteristic out for each wine you taste today, and that's what's important. How do you recognize what you're tasting? How do you recognize a Cabernet Franc from a Merlot, from a Cabernet Sauvignon, from a Chardonnay? They all smell differently to you. And whatever that smell is, when you smell that Cabernet, it's like, all right, that's a Cabernet. I understand that now, okay? Now, after that sense of smell, after we get that smell in, we're going to go into the next S, which is sipping the wine. Now, guys, you have the biggest problem with this, I know. You're used to doing shots and drinking, guzzling beer and stuff like that. Sipping the wine is just that. You're going to get a small little sip in your mouth. And I do a 2-sip process here, okay? 2-sip minimum. Craig, I'm watching you today, buddy. Watching you, buddy. All right, so we're going to do 2 sips, and there's a reason for that. If you're tasting 8 wines back to back, and they're all different, that last sip you had of that last wine is still in your mouth, and you're still tasting Merlot. Well, you're now tasting Cabernet Franc. Well, that first taste of Cabernet Franc is going to wash out the Merlot. That second taste of Cabernet Franc is going to be the real true taste of the Cabernet Franc that you're tasting. Okay, so do 2 sips. Don't push, we're not going to be throwing it back in the back of your mouth. When you're sipping the wine, you're getting it in your mouth. You're working it around the sides of your mouth, around your tongue. There are so many taste buds that taste different things in your mouth. It's unbelievable, okay? From tannins to dryness with tannins to sweet and sour and alcohol. Your mouth can taste so many different things if you'll let it, okay? But if you're just throwing it in the back of your mouth and just like that, you're missing the whole taste, okay? So you're going to smell it real quick, taste it, take a first sip, take a second sip, and then you'll really say, okay, now that's, all right, now I can identify that's a Cabernet Franc. And then when you taste a Cabernet Franc again, your brain is going to register that and say, oh, that's a Cabernet, that tasted like that Cabernet Franc I tasted over at this winery, okay? So I can add another S in there, which is the spitting out part, okay? I prefer that the group have different people designated as dump buckets so that we don't waste wine today, okay? I'm not a person that believes in storing wine or wasting wine, so the group can have different dump buckets designated throughout the group, people who like to drink wine no matter what it tastes like. That's what we're looking for. And that way, if a person doesn't want their sip, they can pour it into the other person's glass and then they can drink it for them. Okay? And then we have several group dump buckets established throughout the group, okay? Now, any questions about tasting wine and tasting etiquette that we covered? It's all clear. You guys got it, right? I'll be walking around and I'll be helping you out. You know, the tasting etiquette falls straight into ordering wine at a restaurant. It plays a very important role in that. So if you can grasp it while you're tasting wine at the wineries, then when you go to put it into play, into use at the restaurants, it really makes you look really good. Okay? So